other big story that we are tracking today. Here, it's about Shashi Tharoor, who in the last 10 days is praising Narendra Modi and the Modi government's diplomacy to the hilt. After his egg-on-face admission, now Shashi Tharoor has written a long column where he lauds India's vaccine maitri, or the diplomacy that India had undertaken during the COVID pandemic. He says that it's been 5 years and we need to talk about what had happened back then. Shashi Tharoor goes on to talk about how India helped those countries in need during the COVID-19 pandemic, and he says this shows the strength of a soft power. So a second endorsement coming in from Congress MP Shashi Tharoor. Is it a sign of things to come? What does this mean when Shashi Tharoor goes ahead and takes a line that is completely contrary to that of the Congress party on critical issues, especially on issues where the Congress party has always criticized the Modi government? On one hand, you had Shashi Tharoor saying that I have an egg on my face and I admit it because I agree now with the stand taken by India when it comes to the Russia-Ukraine conflict. And now he goes ahead and he says this is time to appreciate the policy of the Modi government with regards to COVID-19. Multiple reactions coming in with regards to what Shashi Tharoor said. Let's play out those reactions.
I was the one person in the parliamentary debate who actually criticized the Indian position at the time, back in February 22. 3 years later, it does look like I'm the one with egg on my face, because clearly the policy has meant that India has actually a prime minister who can hug both the president of Ukraine and the president of Moscow 2 weeks apart and be accepted in both places.
So the comment you just heard was from the 19th of March. That was the time when Shashi Tharoor candidly admitted that I have an egg on my face, and I do agree now that the position taken by India with regards to the Russia-Ukraine conflict is right and I was wrong. But let's also get you the instances of when Shashi Tharoor broke ranks with his own party. On the 5th of February 2025, on the deportation, on the US deportation, he said this is not the first deportation and won't be the last. Then on the 16th of February 2025, on Trump and Modi meeting, he said several major concerns had been addressed. Then, what else did Shashi Tharoor go on to say? We will, play that out after this. He also added on the Trump-Modi meeting that this is a very good outcome when at a time when the Congress party was criticizing the government. And then, that's what Shashi Tharoor said. In March 2023, he praised Dr. S. Jaishankar and he said he is very good. So this is the time when the Congress criticizes the government over foreign policy. Then during Congress presidential polls in October 2022, he stood against Kharge for the post of the Congress president. These are all the instances when Shashi Tharoor broke ranks with his own party and he alleged favor shown towards Kharge during the presidential polls of the Congress party. Then these are the instances that we are highlighting of when Shashi Tharoor broke ranks with the Congress party. And now you're seeing how Tharoor is constantly going on an overdrive to praise the Prime Minister's policies. In 2014, he joined the Swachh Bharat mission back in 2014, which is the Prime Minister's pet project, and he joined it at the Viringam port. So back in 2014, PM also hailed his active participation, calling it a great effort. So from 2014 to now after Shashi Tharoor's recent praise for Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vaccine initiative or vaccine maitri, the BJP is coming out and is lauding Shashi Tharoor's stand, and they're calling it a big snub to Rahul Gandhi and the Congress party's leadership. The BJP is hailing Shashi Tharoor for putting Rashtraniti above rajneeti, and in a statement, the BJP is taking potshots at the Congress, accusing the party of prioritizing parivarik interests over national interests.
What Shashi Tharoor ji is saying is basically an acknowledgement of the good work done by the government. And that's how it should be. If India does well, it's a matter of pride for every Indian. There can't be partisan politics on it. So when he's spoken on the vaccine diplomacy, it's a statement of fact. And this is what would have been expected from the entire Congress party, not just one member from within the party.
Dr. Tharoor has praised India's vaccine diplomacy, vaccine maitri program. Recently, he had praised Modi government's Ukraine-Russia foreign policy initiatives and also hailed Donald Trump government's executive order emulating Indian voter identification systems. This shows that at least in the Congress party, there is somebody who's willing to put Rashtraniti above Rajneeti. But unfortunately, the same can't be said about the Congress party. The Congress party in Modi Virod ends up descending into Desh Virod for all important issues.
So what has the Congress party's position been, especially on COVID, on the government's COVID management, on vaccine Maitri and on our vaccines? Let's take you through some old comments. We'll just play them out here. In 2021, Rahul Gandhi said the Jumla version of the vaccine story will not save lives. That's a stated position of Rahul Gandhi. That was in October 2021. Then in December 2021, he also went on and he said vaccines may not work against Omicron. So this was raising questions on India's vaccine efficacy. Then in December 2021, he also said we need to be careful about the vaccine drive, something that was also praised by Shashi Tharoor with regards to how the government managed COVID and also the way it helped other countries. What is Congress leaders saying with regards to Shashi Tharoor's comments, how he's breaking ranks, how the praise is coming in one after the other? Let's listen in.
At that time when COVID went out, COVID vaccinations went out, it's a good thing. India produces COVID vaccinations. The question at that time was that when we desperately needed COVID ourselves, vaccinations ourselves, that is not a time that when we, send vaccinations abroad. Okay, and ठीक है, Mr. Shashi Tharoor may have a point of view. I don't necessarily agree with him. But I think the point that Mr. Tharoor must also understand is how badly COVID was managed in India. And there are certain states in which COVID management was very good, which unfortunately were not BJP states. I think that's also a point he needs to highlight. He has to understand that whenever you praise or discuss an issue, you have to also, look critically at that issue. And I think some of these statements, when it appears that he takes a one-sided view, obviously he will be criticized by members of his party and other opposition members.
Now,